Alright, quick side note, I'm just back to my old webcam because the other one's fucking dead right now. And if you didn't know, the other camera angles were from my actual Canon camera and not a Logitech webcam, which is currently sitting on top of my TV. And as I mentioned in one of my previous videos, I said something about a cyber security thing, right? You can guess. Right, so today we're going to be reacting to this video, which just seemed intriguing. I don't know, it just seemed interesting. I was just scrolling a little bit to find something to react to, so let's go. Let's watch this shit in 4K.
So you've heard of 3G, 4G, and 5G. Well, each one is a different generation of wireless network. And the core...
Oh wait, I actually didn't know that. Well, I knew the generation thing, I didn't know. I don't know, I'm dumb.
part about it is that each one has been so much more powerful than the one before it that it's facilitated a completely new stage in society. So the first ever mobile phones were actually 0G, and even calling them mobile is a bit of a stretch. These were chunky boy phones with a massive box as a receiver. 1G was the first time that the general public could make phone calls, and even though these devices still weighed up to a kilogram...
Wait, what does the G stand for? That's my question. Oh, I thought that said fucking threesome. I don't know what the fuck I'm... Someone could have told me that it was that...
People were too busy gawping at the fact that they were fully wireless to care. Little did we know that from this point onwards, literally every 10 years, we were about to see one generational leap after another. 2G took the 2.4 kilobits per second speed of 1G and made it over 15 times faster, which made phones not just able to call, but also send text and even picture messages. And we just kept gathering momentum. Literally, 3G was up to 50 times faster than 2G, which actually made it powerful enough to support internet-based applications. The only reason we were able to have apps like Instagram and Uber is because of 3G. I remember when 3G was so cool that Apple actually named one of its smartphones just after its ability to support it. So, it's kind of nuts to think that when 4G came out, it was between 50 and 500 times faster than that.
My phone still has 4G connection. Okay, hold on. Don't shit on me. I still have an Android. I have a Samsung. It's the 21. It's this fucker. Hold on. This is what I have. This piece of shit right here. Technically, I could say it's false advertisement because I still have 4G connection and not 5, but it doesn't. It still fucking works, so I'm not gonna bitch about it.
You could do the unthinkable. You could stream Netflix at 1080p. You could play multiplayer games with 100 other players in the same map. It was all about rich multimedia experiences. And that brings us to today, where companies will not stop banging on about what 5G can do. So I'll keep this short. Basically, a good 5G signal means instant sharing. It means browsing the internet with practically non-existent loading times. And
but to be quite honest with you, there's actually really small spots that I actually get 5G. Like, I rarely ever actually get 5G connection. I don't know what it is, but it's dumb.
It's got such low latency that you could do things like remotely control machines as if they were an extension of you. So what on earth is 6G? Well, the way it works is that pretty much as soon as one generation comes out, a lot of these big tech companies like Samsung, like Qualcomm, they start working together to figure out what the next one's gonna be. They're kind of investing in their own future because if they can keep coming up with generations, then they can keep people buying their products based on those generations. So even though we're just seeing 5G roll out now in 2020, Samsung had actually built working 5G back...
This was from 20... Oh! Well then, no shit, there's gonna be no shit.
In 2013. So even though 6G is scheduled for 2030, which seems like a mile away, companies are already working on it today. In fact, the very first super early 6G chips have already been built. It's not really 6G, it's not as fast as actual 6G is going to be, but already past the theoretical limit of 5G.
If 5G is supposed to supposedly be instant sharing and just stuff instantaneously, then what's faster?
And a couple of months ago, Samsung dropped a full document actually showing their plans for 6G, and I think it's fascinating. They put together a diagram here which shows the kinds of ways it might improve on 5G, which is the light blue area in the middle. And this might already look quite impressive on the face of it, but if you look a little closer, you'll realize that
I just realized I'm literally so white. It's just this camera, I'm sorry, my webcam is just terrible with picking up light and dropping exposure. Look at that shit. It's fucking terrible. Jesus Christ. I apologize for looking like Casper the Ghost.
it's not a linear scale, meaning that while it looks like the peak data rate is going to triple or maybe quadruple, on this scale, it's 50 times faster than the absolute fastest 5G connection, with a tenth of the latency. They're saying that this will be fast enough to download 100 hours of Netflix in a second. They're saying that it'll be able to support 10 times the number of devices, and that it'll be 100 times as reliable. And you might be sitting there starting to think, why? What's the point? 4G is already fast enough, I barely need 5G, this is ridiculous. But I would argue that it only sounds ridiculous because we aren't living in the society that it's made for. Remember that—
I mean, yeah, it's cool, but do we really need it though? Do we?
Remember, they're building a technology that's trying to serve the needs of future humanity. 6G has got to be good enough to carry us from 2030 all the way to 2040. And that world is going to look very different to this world. Oh, and if you're enjoying this video, by the way, a sub to the channel would be breathtaking. Let's say you're in a self-driving car.
I'm one step ahead of you. I'm one step ahead of you, buddy. Don't test me.
Let's say you're in a self-driving car, among a whole other network of self-driving cars on a motorway. 5G won't cut it. Think about it. You're on a motorway, you're well away from a city, and yet every single one of these cars has to be online. They have to be able to react to hazards in literally a split second.
They need more cell towers then.
Connection can't drop at all, or someone could die. So you need a reliable connection that's powerful enough to process the data from every single one of these cars like that. But to be fair—
Okay, yeah. You need faster connection and more cell towers. When you go, when we went to road trips on like Mexico or even Denver, when you're in Texas, I get it's the middle of fucking nowhere, who's gonna be out there, but some spots still have, even certain spots here in my house are terrible.
Things get juicy. Imagine a world where every car is fully aware of where every other car is. It would mean that when you're planning a route, instead of checking to see where current traffic jams are and trying to avoid them, your car could coordinate with every other car and make sure that nobody ever gets stuck waiting behind someone else. Or like, I talk a fair bit about how I think we're heading towards a mixed reality. Being able to just pop some glasses on or contact lenses that would allow you to see a whole new digital layer to the real world. But think about it, for this to work, you need a network that can support millions, if not billions of users sitting in the same shared augmented reality. Can you—
Yeah, because there's, 8 billion people on Earth now? It's either, like, super close to 8 billion or it is 8 billion. I mean, not everyone on Earth is going to use it. Not everyone on Earth is going to need it or even have access to it, but that'll take a lot. I don't know any server that would, that we could ever make to possibly— imagine the size of the computer that you'd need to hold— Jesus Christ.
Imagine the amount of data that would need to be synced instantly between devices. Besides, in the next 20 years, we're going to want data connection in the sea, the sky, and space, and current solutions just don't allow it. So you get the idea. To facilitate the next generation of tech, we need the next generation of network. We need microsecond response times, not the milliseconds we're currently working with. However, there's a problem. So you know how 4G can be a little bit patchy? You don't always get the signal. Well, that's because 4G waves can only travel about 10 miles. So if you're further than 10 miles away from a 4G cell tower, you're probably out of luck. And
This is what I was talking
5G
about.
made this problem worse. See, the only way they've managed to deliver higher speeds is by using smaller, higher frequency waves. They're called millimeter waves because they're literally 1 to 10 millimeters. But because they're so small, they're also more easily blocked. I could have perfect 5G signal, accidentally step behind a tree, and it could just vanish. I'm acting like this is some sort of theoretical scenario. No, I've actually tried this. And so because of this problem, we can't rely on true 5G on its own. For starters, just to get it working in a city, you have to go from one big central tower with 4G to literally a tower on every street for 5G. Plus, there are high-profile leaders right now who are already saying that millimeter wave will never even reach most of the country. And so, these true 5G waves also have to be compensated with something called sub-6 waves. You could think of that as a bit like a 4.5G network. And on top of that, every 5G phone also has to be able to switch seamlessly between 5G, 4G, and 3G, because you will still need them. So, you can probably see where this is going, even though 6G hasn't been finalized yet. It's looking like that to deliver the speeds we need for it, we might have to use even smaller waves. The current top candidate is sub-millimeter waves, or terahertz waves, which, as you probably guessed, are a tenth of the size of 5G's millimeter waves. If we can't even—
No. See, that's where the problem comes in with that kind of thing, because how the fuck am I gonna be able to connect to it if the waves get broken so easily? 5G gets broken so easily, right? And we notice that. 6G, per se, okay, comes out. I'd probably need some type of cell tower in my fucking room, or everywhere that you are, to be able to stay connected to it, because I guarantee if you, let's say if it was in this room and I walk out in the hallway and go into the living room, it's just gonna break connection.
get these millimeter waves beyond our cities, how are we going to cover the globe in sub-millimeter waves? You see the problem, right? We could start completely covering our skyline in cell towers. Maybe. We could force all new buildings to start integrating 6G antennae into the architecture. Maybe. We might even need to have 6G transmitters baked into home furniture. Because remember, these waves are so easily blocked, you probably would need multiple transmitters per home. But even if we sort that problem, for 6G to bring the benefits that we want from it, it can't just be faster. It has to be all those other things as well. So, as well as suggesting sub-millimeter wave technology, Samsung also suggested a couple of other candidate technologies to sit alongside it. They suggested, what if we take advantage of all the extra intelligence we've gained in the last 10 years by baking AI into 6G tech directly? It might mean that your devices on 6G could automatically talk to each other and smartly manage data between them. Samsung also mentioned novel antenna technology, which I think is another way of saying we need a more efficient way to build our antennae, but we don't know what it is yet. Another option is maybe instead of having one cell tower that transmits and loads of devices that receive, to make each 6G device
I'll just have to line up the audio then. I just looked over at my monitor, scrolled down, because I was just a bit curious, and I realized you guys couldn't even hear. There was no audio output from my headphones, so that's great. Now I have to download this fucking video and, well, the audio anyway. I have to just re-overlay the entire...
We don't know what it is yet. Another option is maybe instead of having one cell tower that transmits and loads of devices that receive, to make each 6G device capable of being both a receiver and a transmitter. So you could have like a web of devices that are both receiving 6G, but also helping each other to connect to 6G.
Wouldn't that just drain your phone's power though? Because if your phone is constantly giving out a connection, like my phone, I don't know what it is. Every fucking phone I have, I honestly think it's just Androids. I might even switch up to an iPhone at some point soon. Every phone I've had overheats so incredibly easily. It actually pisses me off. I'm sorry. But every single phone that I've had, the only Apple device that I've had was an iPod. Not an iPhone, but an iPod. After that, I've just had Android phones. And they've always overheated on me. With battery saver on. I think Samsung has something to fucking fix!
One thing that does kind of help its case is the fact that when 5G was built, it was built with the capacity to be upgraded. So it's possible that 6G could kind of use the existing towers and framework that has already been built, as opposed to starting from scratch. Anyways, my stance is that I think it's cool. I'm actually excited about this. If I had to guess though, I would say that we probably won't be able to keep up this rate of new generation every 10 years. I would say that given the difficulties we're having with 5G, 6G won't be a viable replacement until 2035. But it's still good to know what we're working towards. Also, so far, each time we've gone from one generation of wireless network to another, there's been a huge jump in power consumption. But I get the feeling that for 6G, because of how aware we're becoming of the damage we're doing to the planet, and because of how much we're trying to slow that down, it might have to somewhat adjust its aspirations based on this. Like, if companies get told, for your 6G infrastructure, you're only allowed to use the same amount of energy as 5G is currently using, then you can imagine they won't be able to make something as powerful, versus if they've just been let loose to go crazy with it. If you enjoyed this video, do consider subscribing, that'd be great. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Well, props to him. He's great. Mr. Who's the Boss, he has a great channel. I'll leave the link to his channel and this video down below. So feel free to go check that out for yourself if you'd like to. And maybe do some of your own research on 6G as well. But yeah, that's the video. I mean, thoughts on it? I have no idea. That's insane. 6G, even though it's really not, because we're literally at 5G. But I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of insane. Because, you know, I don't know. That is pretty interesting. I do think that, as I said, Samsung has some things to figure out, because I don't. No fucking way it can't. It's just me. No fucking way it's just me. That it's just my phone that has issues overheating. I mean, my mom's doesn't. We have literally the same exact phone, but there's. What am I doing? I'm not like. And it's not like I'm downloading any fucking shit that I shouldn't. I don't even download. I'm not even subscribed to like any service on my phone. You know what I mean? So it's not like I could possibly have even downloaded or bought something that I shouldn't have. I only have apps that I actually use regularly. Or that I need. The only thing that I have ever actually gotten viruses on, and that is still potentially at risk because I'm a dumbass, is my PC. I don't know. That is pretty cool. I just do think that we have to work with technology properly. But I don't want to sound like a tree hugger or anything, or like, you know, I'm not a person that gets all pressed about fucking global warming and that dumb shit. But, you know, whatever. It is what it is. We can keep moving with our technology and also just be smart with it. That's all. I don't got much else to say about it than that. But, yeah, it is pretty cool. If you guys have your own thoughts, leave the comments down below. And if you'd like me to react to or see anything else, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep finding shit of my own. If you don't like it, don't watch it.